Baggy, well Steve, but everybody calls me Baggy. We're Roost. We're a self-build housing co-op consisting of 7 members, but we are at the moment in the process of looking for some more people to join in. We came together about 7 months ago with the view of buying or leasing a plot of land that we could then build around 6 dwellings on. At the moment we're kind of getting ready to make the bid, our first bid on a plot of land. That will be in the Brighton area. We've all lived in Brighton for various amounts of time. At the moment we're all living in rented accommodation. And though some of us got pretty good rented accommodation, it's quite secure, it is still rented. And so you're always running the risk of having to leave there at any time on quite short notice. I think the kind of houses that we would like to build would be low environmental impact eco houses. Like to build and design keeping the carbon footprint to a minimum. The homes would be, try and make them as energy efficient as possible. Like I said, the build would consist of about 6 dwellings. We'd also like it to be open so that people could come along and see what we're doing and see how we're building. So far it's been quite interesting, it's been a bit of a learning curve. Been working with Brighton Hove CLT, learned a lot, learned about spreadsheets and financing and all that kind of stuff. That's kind of where we are anyway. I'm going to hand you over to Sarah.
Yeah. This is our first presentation. So the best thing we think about Roost is that we have all had years of experience in communities and cooperatives. So we all have lived in communities or co-ops, or we now live in communities or co-ops, or we've had experience of working in workers' co-ops, or we work in workers' co-ops. We've got a big contingency of people from Infinity. We have people in the bakery, we have them in the cafe, we have them in the shop, so we've got a big sort of Infinity contingent, which is good. Quite a few of us have lived in different co-ops, so out of town. I live in out of town, 2 other members have lived in out of town. We all have a very similar value base. A lot of us were involved in setting up the Cowley Club, which people might not know, but that's in Brighton and it's cooperatively run social centre. So we have lots of experience in things like consensus decision making and DIY culture and social change politics. So that's a very strong part of what we're about. The good thing is that we're all a bit older now and we're quite up for just getting on with it really, and our meetings are quite short and succinct. We've started to use a bit of sociocracy, but we're quite good at just getting things done, and we're not going to get stuck and bogged down in conversations about if people can have cats or not in a project or whatever. So we're kind of really up for just being very grown up and getting on with things. And like Baggy said, we're hoping to get a piece of land and build a little row of houses or somehow. And we want to have some shared space. We're particularly keen on a shared laundry, some shared storage space and sort of outdoor space that we can spend time together, but we've all got a bit older and we would all really like our own little houses. In terms of BHCLT, like Baggy said, we've had help with finance sheets, Gantt charts. I never knew what a Gantt chart was, but I do now, so that's very exciting. And we all know lots of different people who are in this community, and so it's really good to have the BHCLT. We know people from Chibber, we know all the other co-ops, and people have lived in various co-ops. So we're newly incorporated, fully mutual housing co-op, born out of the long-established cooperative movement in Brighton. We're currently 7 adults, 2 grown-up children, and a lovely baby. And this is us. We're sitting down there with Martin and Amy from Bunker and their architect, and Andrea, and we were doing our Gantt charts that day. We were doing some project planning. Not such a good photo, but that was us when we were doing our business case and the lovely baby. This is when Bunker were talking about having people come and look at their site. Some of us went along and joined in with that, which was inspiring, good for networking as well. It's when we're doing our finance session, and look how much the baby loves the finance session. She's really, really excited about that. So she's going to be our top co-op person, I think. So that's it. That's Roost. We're hoping that through Homes England that we'll be able to get a capital grant to help with buying the land, and the houses we would get a mortgage to build the houses, yeah.
Land is of a premium here in Brighton. Not a lot comes up, so yeah, chances as this grows, yes, we are going to be in competition with one another, but let's try and keep it friendly. Bunker, for example, are only going for council land, we're not.
Yeah, I was just wondering how you match different groups to different places.
Yeah, and the Coldine site, they're Coldine people, so we wouldn't go and go, we'll have a bit of your Coldine land, you know. So I think we've met up with different groups, we've had processes with different groups, we've talked about whether we could amalgamate and become big groups. You know, so we've had different conversations, and a lot of us have known each other for years, and we've got different connections, so there's lots of respect. And like Baggy says, there might be a bit of competition, but you know, like we've only just started, and like Bunker have been going for years, and you know, so it's like, I think you just need to be respectful, and we're all part of a movement and a community.
Like you say, if we found a site that was for 50 houses, for instance, it would then be, groups would be talking to each other, how they could either join as one or have different parts of it, because actually what people want is they want to be able to build community-led housing. What we've got as part of our hub, and have had for the last year, is a land finder, a land finding enabler. So she's mapped and gets to know all the different pieces of land that might be available, and also when people spot it themselves, they've got somewhere that they can have as a kind of holder of all that information. So that's how we're managing it at the moment. Our biggest challenge as a community land trust is because it's so expensive, and because the developers come in with ready cash, that is being able to respond quickly with the cash. So that's why we want to build like a community chest, a community fund, so we can be more on an equal footing to compete for land.
So basically Roost will get a mortgage to build the houses. So there's traders, there's ecology building societies, and building societies. In fact, on the BHCLT website, there's 4 different mortgage lenders for the groups that you can look at. But yeah, and then as tenants and members of the co-op will be paying our rent to Roost, and Roost will be paying the mortgage. That's how it works. It's a bit of a weird kind of relationship.
No, I think it's the only way you can do it, really, isn't it?
Yeah. But Roost is the organisation.
Yeah, it's a separate legal entity.
Yeah, and it owns
mortgage.
the houses.
Yeah. Okay.
And what will happen is if I leave Roost, if we ever get to that point, move in and then I leave with nothing, because it's Roost that owns the house. It's not like a co-housing project where you own your house.
Brighton and Hove Community Land Trust supports groups of people who want to create their own community-led housing projects. Join us at bhclt.org.uk.